Think about a shy cat sitting at the edge of a room. If you lunge toward it, shouting its name and reaching out with desperate, grasping hands, what would happen? It would bolt. It would vanish under a sofa or behind a door before you even got close. The more energy you spend trying to catch it, the faster it runs. Most of us treat our careers, our wealth, and our social status exactly like that cat. We spend our lives lunging at success, chasing it with a frantic, thirsty energy, only to wonder why it always seems to stay just a few inches out of reach. We have forgotten the fundamental law of Dharma. Success isn't something you catch. It's a condition you attract by the person you become. In Buddhist teaching, this desperate chasing is known as Tanha, a deep, unquenchable thirst. We believe that if we just run faster, if we just grasp harder, we will finally find a permanent oasis. But the Buddha taught that the more we thirst for the outcome, the more we suffer in the process. Life, at its very core, is a journey of refining your character, a process of awakening that moves from the inside out. If you cannot understand the mechanics of your own magnetism, your life becomes nothing more than an exhausting uphill sprint. You find yourself trapped in chaser mode, a specific type of survival mode where your worth is tied to the catch. Let me ask you a question. When you see a gardener, do they spend their time chasing butterflies and trying to pin them to the flowers? No. They spend their time nourishing the soil. They prune the leaves, they pull the weeds, and they ensure the environment is rich and healthy. They focus on the internal ROI, the quality of the garden itself. When the garden is beautiful, the butterflies arrive on their own. Success is the butterfly, your character is the garden. In the modern West, we've been told to hustle, to grind, and to hunt. But high-performance psychology and ancient Zen both tell us something different. Despair is a repellent. When you chase money or status with a sense of scarcity, you are vibrating with the frequency of lack. People feel it. The market feels it. They move away from the noise and toward the signal of stability. You've probably felt this before. You wake up and your brain is already calculating. How much did I make? Who do I need to impress? Why am I not there yet? Before you've even had your coffee, you are already in a state of dukkha, the feeling that life is unsatisfying or out of alignment. You are staring at the empty space where the cat should be. By obsessing over the output, you neglect the very engine that creates it, your mind. You become a passenger in your own ambition, driven by a hunger that can never be satisfied because it's looking for external solutions to an internal problem. I once heard a story of a young monk who was obsessed with reaching enlightenment. He would meditate for 20 hours a day, pushing himself until he was exhausted. He went to his master and cried, "I am doing everything. Why am I not enlightened yet?" The master looked at a nearby pot of water and said, "If you keep stirring the water to check if the sediment has settled, it will never be clear. The water becomes clear only when you stop touching it." Success is exactly like that water. If you keep stirring your life with anxiety and grasping the sediment of your potential, never has the chance to settle into a solid foundation. You must learn the art of apranihita, the aimlessness or non striving, where you do the work for the sake of the work, not for the sake of the reward. When the urge to hustle harder or the anxiety of not being enough hits, can you pause? Think of a fisherman. If he splashes the water and shouts at the fish, he will go home hungry. He has to be the most quiet thing on the lake. When you feel that desperate need for a result, a promotion, a sale, a compliment, give yourself the 3-second gap. In that space, realize the result is the cat. My work is the stillness. Take one deep breath and shift your focus from what can I get to what can I give. This is the Stoic dichotomy of control meeting Buddhist mindfulness. You cannot control if the cat comes to you, but you can control the quality of the milk you put in the saucer. Most of our professional misery comes from trying to control the cat instead of perfecting the saucer. Why is it so hard to stop chasing? Because our egos thrive on validation. We want the world to tell us we're winning so we can feel safe. But a person who needs the world's approval is a slave to the world's whims. Look at the moon. It doesn't try to pull the tides. It doesn't chase the ocean. It just exists in its full radiant weight, and the tides have no choice but to follow. This is grounded power. To change your life, you have to stop being the tide and start being the moon. You have to empty the cup of your needs and fill it with your value. In Buddhism, we call this sunyata, the emptiness that is actually full of potential. When you are no longer desperate for success, you become a person of high status automatically, because only someone who is already full can afford to be still. Think back to the times you actually won something significant. Was it when you were at your most desperate? Usually, it's the opposite. It's when you were so lost in the flow, so focused on the craft, or so happy in the moment that you actually forgot to look for the result. That is when the cat jumped into your lap. A mind filled with the noise of chasing is too loud for the whisper of opportunity. When you become still, when you focus on being a person of immense internal value, your energy stabilizes. People start wanting to be in your orbit. They don't know why, but they feel the grounded power you bring. Do you want to be the person who is exhausted from the hunt, or the one who is the fixed point that everything revolves around? Growth isn't found in a trophy room, it's in the way you handle the silence. Next time you feel the panic of falling behind, feel your feet on the floor. The earth is a massive silent weight that moves the entire universe without ever chasing anything. You are part of that same design. Next time you're tempted to cut a corner just to get a result, look at a mountain. It didn't rush to grow. It accumulated its height through eons of steady, unshakable pressure. Next time you feel the need to prove yourself, tell yourself, I am the saucer. I am the garden. I am the moon. This is deep trust in the Dharma. When you live this way, your shoulders drop, your eyes clear. Your voice becomes a source of authority rather than a plea for attention. The things that used to make you tweak like a desperate chaser feel as light as a passing cloud. You start to enjoy the doing You wash the dishes for the sake of the water. You do the work for the sake of the craft. You stop living in a future where you finally arrive and start living as the person who is already there. We aren't here to spend our lives as hunters of shadows. We are here to be the light that shadows follow. If life is a river, don't be the one who tries to push the water to the sea. Be the one who deepens the channel so the water has no choice but to flow through you. Both paths lead to the ocean, but only the one who stays still sees the stars reflected in their surface. May you find the courage to stop chasing. The cat is watching you from the corner of the room, and the moment you truly deeply sit still, that is the moment it will finally walk over and choose you.